Tyson Media post-production workflow. All right, let's dive into the start of our workflow. This first step in the process is all about setting up the project in Adobe Premiere Pro. By keeping our setups consistent, we make sure that every project can be smoothly transferred and worked on by different team members. I'll walk you through how to set up project folders, structure your files, and create a clean workspace for editing. Before I jump in though, I want to make sure you understand that the software we use is specific to Tyson Media, and you can use any software to accomplish these same principles below if you aren't working with us at Tyson Media. We just use Premiere because it flows seamlessly into our workflow. This is the same for Dropbox. We use it because it works well for us, but there are similar cloud platforms like Drive and Frame.io that also work well. Okay, let's dive in. Like I said in the PDF, every editor that works for Tyson Media needs to use Adobe Premiere and also use Dropbox. We're gonna start by opening up Adobe Premiere. These softwares will update and change, so this could look different for you now. I always stress that the principles of what I teach are very similar. It's all about the philosophies and less about technology. Okay, we're gonna open up the project and then start a new project. It's gonna give you this window. So inside, we're going to use our Dropbox system. So this is how we use Dropbox. And so we actually have an A projects folder. And then we're going to go to the client folder. And for this example, let's create a new one called Tyson Media. This is the client folder that it will live in. And then inside that folder, we are going to have, depending on the size of the client, you're going to have quarter folders. That is where we will break out the entire quarter of projects into one folder. Otherwise, you're going to have so many projects. So for example, this is one of our biggest clients. And if we click on, well, if I was in my Finder, I could click on it. There's probably a couple hundred projects in there. So we break them out, and then at the end of the year, we drag that whole folder into the 2023 year. So now we have all those projects inside there. So that's kind of our workflow with clients when we start new projects, is we have this A projects folder, and the reason for that, we put an A is so that it's at the top. It just is easier to find. Any second you can grab while you're editing makes you that much faster. So this is just the process of starting a new project. So like I said, we're going to use Tyson Media as an example. Let's just say we have a quarter. So we're going to do a Q1. And then inside that, we're going to name our project. And so the naming convention for us for projects is based on the product and then the name of the project. So sometimes it's the name of the company because they don't have products yet, or we're just shooting for one product. So we'll name it just the company. So for example, Honeylove, if they didn't have projects, we would use Honeylove as the first word and then underscore project name. And I like to capitalize the first one and then underscore the second one, or not capitalize fully the second line. The reason for that is just, it looks good to me. It feels good. It separates. I can easily see what's the project and what's the name of the product. So let's start with that. So for example, and in the PDF, I do use Honeylove as our example, and we put raw v-neck underscore TikTok test as the folder. So inside this folder, let's just call this Tyson Media as the client / product, underscore the project name. We'll just say test project. And that's the name of the folder. Okay, so then inside that is where you're going to name the project. So inside this is where your assets for your project are going to live. And we always create a PP, which is Premiere Pro. And that's where our project file will live. So we will call this Tyson Media underscore test project, select, create. Okay, and now that we are inside the project, go to edit, and we want to build out our folders for every project, just so that we always have these master folders. Sometimes you'll add some other ones, sometimes you won't, but these will be universal to every project most of the time. And it's very similar to the Finder when you're in projects. You've got, let's just look at Honeylove again. So inside of a project, you've got Oh, it's not a better example. Inside of a project, you've got your assets, your footage, your music, and your Premiere Pro file, and then the brief. Our project folders should match pretty similar to that, but in the PDF, I do have what exactly we want. We want to have a sequences, footage, assets, music, and SFX. It's pretty self-explanatory, but like logos, PNGs, images, you know, all kinds of different things that you'll use for your edit live here. Sound effects live in here. Footage lives in here. Music, you know, obviously lives in their sequences, lives here because some projects require a lot more than one sequence. So it just keeps things organized right out of the gate, and things that don't get unorganized. The main purpose for this, and the reason that this is so important for us, is that we have projects going from employee to employee. And if they open up a project and it's just a mess and it's like, where do I find the music? It takes time out of their time to find those things. So we avoid those situations by having nice, clean footage. Wow, I meant folders.